PR. Nice to meet you. Please, come join me. Cool.
Alright, let's discuss this. I bet you weren't expecting this, were you? The last time I talked about anything was, I guess, technically it was the last album to be released. So yeah, five and a half years, okay. Alright, so this one I'm conflicted about. Now, you guys know me, so this should not be a surprise, and don't accuse me of things that are clearly untrue like you always do. I am no stranger to criticizing fans who complain about everything. I was around and made videos about every single thing since he died, and even before. I was criticizing fans who complained about Thriller 25. I did it towards This Is It, Immortal, MJ1, Escape, Michael, Bad 25, everything. Every single thing fans have complained about, which is everything, I was always there to defend those things. The biggest defense I ever did was on Escape, because I knew, unlike others that do have some flaws, like there's definite flaws in Michael and This Is It and Scream, the one with the fewest flaws, aside from Bad 25, is probably Escape. And when it came out in 2014, I made 5 videos defending this album before it was even released. So I knew that it was going to be good, and it was. I told fans, stop complaining, let it come out, you'll love it, and everyone did. But it's just the preemptive complaining, and if I may go back to 2014 for a brief second and say, the same fans who complain about it before it comes out are the exact same fans who complain that nothing comes out. So it's like your hypocrisy contradicts itself. But anyway, let's talk about this. Thriller 40 is coming out, and the reason why I personally was conflicted is not because of the way other fans complain and behave. My reasons are different. The first thing is my hatred and unending anger towards Dangerous 25 not happening. I am so mad. I remember back in 2016 when it should have happened, a lot of fans were like, well, you know what, just wait, maybe they'll do Dangerous 30. And then that didn't happen either. What did we get? The MJ fan page basically put up a fucking Dangerous 25 logo. You fucking assholes. Now look, I will never stop being angry about Dangerous 25 and Dangerous 30. But a lot of people are saying that the reason why this came out is because it's his most popular album, which is true, but you can't come at me saying that Dangerous is not fucking popular. I do agree that both Thriller and Bad were more popular than Dangerous, but not by so much that it shouldn't get an anniversary album. Like, that's just insanely stupid, okay? Like, now, I might have the numbers a bit wrong, and if I do, feel free to correct me, but I believe Bad sold 35 million and Dangerous sold 30 million. Wow. What a huge difference to not do anything. No, that is not a big enough difference to do literally nothing. Okay, it just isn't. And there are so many things that could have been done with Dangerous. Remixes, unreleased songs, demos, and most importantly, a fucking concert. Now, granted, knowing MJ's estate way too well, it probably would have been Bucharest. But I would hope that it would be something else, like Munich, Tokyo, you know, something good that hasn't been released 50 times. But regardless, I'll continue to keep this in until I'm 80. But let's move on to the more important topic of today's video. Thriller 40. Now, some people, who I don't agree with because your logic contradicts itself, are saying things like, the reason why we're getting Thriller 40 is because it was his most important and biggest album. That's correct. But they follow up this logic by saying, we want to make sure that the people who don't know about certain songs or albums know about it today. But doesn't that actually support the idea of re-releasing Dangerous, History, Invincible even? Because those are lesser known or lesser sold albums. Therefore, less people have known or heard them. Therefore, if your logic is, we want younger people to find out about them, naturally you would release the lesser selling albums, not the higher selling ones that more people have heard. Your logic is kind of broken here. Now, granted, I know that some people aren't just referring to the album itself, they're also referring to the unreleased songs from that album. And by that logic, I totally understand, but Dangerous had unreleased songs too, so did History. It's just, the logic isn't there fully, it doesn't fully work, okay? So when they release albums that sold better, like Thriller and Bad, you're less doing it for the younger people who haven't heard them because they've been heard more, and you're more doing it for money. You know that an album that sold better 20, 30 years ago is going to sell better today because that's just how it works. A re-release of History is going to do worse than a re-release of Bad. That's just how it works. But if your reason is about letting the younger people who don't know about those songs know about them, then you would do it for the songs and albums that are lesser known, not for the ones that are the most known. Okay? Yeah, I get it's iconic, okay? I'm not saying that Thriller is not iconic. I'm just talking about the logic put behind people's reasons, that's it. It also really contradicts all the racist people who say things like, nobody cares about Black Michael, people prefer 90s Michael. And while I already debunked this notion in an old rant called Racist Michael Jackson Fans, you should watch it, this actually proves my point even further, that they are literally just ignoring 90s Michael in terms of re-releases. Just ignoring completely. Like, no Dangerous, no History, no Invincible, no Blood on the Dance Floor, but who cares about that album? It's unbelievable. Like, they remaster and release Thriller, but they don't do it for Ghost. It's just, again, I understand it's the most popular and it's sold the best and everything, but you're completely ignoring the 90s. And maybe not the whole, because, again, there's parts of the 90s that maybe just didn't do very well, but Dangerous did fantastic, and it was because his skin was white, whatever. I'm not even going to bother with that, but it does contradict all the racists who say things like people are racist for liking 90s Michael, when in reality, you could argue that they're racist for ignoring 90s Michael. Anyway, we can move on from that point. Let's just get into this album here. First of all, the cover looks okay, I guess. I mean, the Michael Jackson Thriller looks like it was written in Microsoft Word. The 40 also looks really boring, and everything else is exactly the same. Moving on from that, this has another major problem that we've seen a million times, where they just refuse to release a concert. Granted, I don't actually think this is the reason, but it could be a reason. This album should come with a Victory Tour concert. Okay, it should. Some would argue and say, well, actually, no, it's because that was a Jackson's concert and not a Thriller tour. And you'd be right. I mean, Thriller wasn't even done on the fucking tour. But at the same time, it was part of the same era and had 4 other songs from the Thriller album, aside from Thriller. I'm just saying, I don't know, maybe there's some legality with the Jackson brothers, I don't know. But I do know that, in principle, there should probably be a Victory Tour concert here. And even if they couldn't do a Victory Tour concert release, there should still be some kind of DVD. In fact, I'll give you a few ideas right now. 1, a documentary on the making of the album. 2, a documentary on the making of Thriller, which already fucking exists, by the way. A DVD of music videos from Thriller. Like, there, I just gave you 3 ideas. Of course, they're not the greatest ideas in the world, but it's certainly better than nothing. And for people who are going to come and say, but Matt, things like the making of Thriller have already been released. So? Bucharest has been released multiple times, so that complaint doesn't work either. Moving on to other things on here. The price is really good. I mean, $14, that's not bad. Even in Canadian, this is like $17. So that's not bad. That's not bad. I'm okay with the price. I'm surprised they didn't charge like $40 like they usually would. Disc 1 is Michael Jackson's 82 regular songs, as we can see right fucking here, yes. And the more important thing is Disc 2, which has bonus material that has not even been revealed yet. Now, I'm kind of wondering what it will be, because there's a few options. One, it can be songs we haven't heard before, which is what it should be. Two, it will be a bunch of demos that were like leaked on YouTube years ago, like Starlight, for example, which is fine because a lot of people, especially the dumbest fans, will say things like, we had Starlight from like the early 2000s. Correct, but it was a leak on YouTube, and the general public has not heard it yet because the general public is not looking up rare Michael Jackson songs on YouTube. I am okay with that, but a couple things that could be problems. Number one, there are unreleased songs from Thriller put on previous albums, like Love Never Felt So Good on Escape. There's songs on Michael from the Thriller era. There's songs on the Ultimate Collection from the Thriller era. So I'm wondering, are they going to ignore those songs because they already got a release? Or are they going to put them on this album as well? There's a problem with both of those. If they put them on this album too, then fans will say, what are you doing? That was already released on Escape. But if they don't put them on Thriller 40, songs that are on other albums like Carousel from the Ultimate Collection, for example, if they're not put on here because they already got a release, then people won't know about them because not everybody bought the Ultimate Collection, and if you don't put it on here because it was already released in the past, then you kind of fuck around and you start missing out on songs that should be on Thriller 40 but aren't because they were already released, and it can just be a problem. My personal opinion is take every single unreleased song from Thriller, even if they were already released on previous albums like Escape, Michael, Ultimate Collection, and just put them all here again. Yes, it's a secondary release, but it's also way more important than just ignoring them because they were on an album from 10 years ago. So yes, I do think they should be here. So unreleased songs are good, demos are good, remixes are shit, but I will, it's better than nothing. That logic always matters. And yeah, so like I said, overall, I'm not angry about it. I'm angry at the estate, which is making me bitter towards certain things, even if I shouldn't be bitter, and I do agree I have bias. I will always be angry about Dangerous 25. And I'm also kind of annoyed that they didn't put a DVD with this, because there really should be. But the overall idea is mostly good, maybe a little lazy, but still good, and the price is low, so it's not a huge deal. I have 3 copies of Thriller 25, because they keep releasing it in different covers and stuff, and I'm a collector who is impulsive, so, there's that. Anyway, I have nothing else to say. What's your opinion on the Thriller 40 idea? Okay, see ya.